If you're a commercial roofer trying to grow and scale in multifamily, here's something that a lot of people in the industry just still miss. You're not competing on roofing, you're not competing on pricing, and you're definitely not competing on who can fix a leak the fastest. In multifamily, you're competing on trust, you're competing on communication, you're competing on the ability to make a property manager's life easier. And the roofers who understand that are the ones who stop winning one off jobs and start winning long term relationships across entire portfolios. That is the real opportunity in multifamily. A lot of contractors walk into a multifamily property thinking that the job is just about fixing the roof. Fix the issue, send the invoice, move on. But that is not how property managers experience your company. They experience your company through every single touch point. They experience you through things like pre mobilization conversations. They experience you through how clearly expectations are set before a project begins. They experience you through whether notices are posted for residents. They experience you through how the way that your team communicates on staging, on progress, on any sort of delays, any sort of change orders, how you clean up, what your billing looks like, and how you close out that project. So, yes, the roof 100% matters, but the experience around the roof matters much, much more. And in a lot of cases, it matters way more because the truth is, a lot of roofers know how to sell at the beginning stage of a relationship. They know how to sound good in that first meeting. They know how to talk through the scope and build confidence and get that job. But once the work starts, that experience starts to fall apart. The communication gets inconsistent, the documentation gets weak, updates stop coming in, and the property manager has to chase for answers. Residents were never properly notified, change orders are vague, payments get delayed because the closeout package is incomplete. And even if the work gets done, the process feels messy. That's where trust starts getting lost. That's also where the best roofing companies separate themselves because the companies that really win in multifamily understand that maintenance and repairs, they're not just service items, they are trust building opportunities. Every repair is a chance to show a property manager what it's like to work with your company. Can you communicate clearly? Can you execute cleanly? Can you keep the site organized? Can you provide end of day reporting? Can you outline delays before they become frustrations? Can you create clear documentation that ownership and management and even the investors can understand? That is a completely different level of service. And when you do this consistently, you stop being viewed as just another vendor and you start becoming that strategic partner they've always been looking for. That shift changes everything because once a property manager sees that your company does way more than just patch problems, once they see that you understand the full life cycle of the project from front to back, the conversations get much bigger. Now you're not just talking about one leak, you're talking about preserving capital, you're talking about extending the life of the roof, you're talking about reducing surprises, you're talking about helping ownership make better decisions. You're talking about bringing clarity to an asset that affects budget, operations, resident experience, and long term planning. That's a very different conversation than most roofers are prepared to have. Most roofers are focused on one thing. Is it leaking or no? Is it maintenance or not maintenance? But the contractors who really grow and scale in multifamily understand that there's something deeper. They understand that documentation is not just paperwork. Documentation is part of the product. If your reporting is weak, the value that you bring is weak. If your communication is sloppy, then your professionalism feels sloppy. If your closeout is unclear, well, then your reliability gets questioned. But when your process is strong from the beginning to the end, now you're giving the client something bigger than just the roof work. You're giving them confidence, and confidence that that job is being handled, confidence that their residents are being considered, confidence that ownership is getting the visibility that it needs, confidence that future decisions can be made with better information. And that kind of confidence is what opens the door to more work, because here's what happens next. First, the property manager says, these guys did a good job. Then they say, these guys communicate better than most contractors. Then they see, these guys made my life easier. Then they say, these guys understand how our communities operate. And then they eventually say, I want these guys on more of our properties. That's how you move from one community to multiple communities. That's how you move from a single project to infiltrating an entire portfolio and building relationships. That's how I call you building a moat around a property and a community. Not because the maintenance itself is the goal, but because maintenance and repairs become the entry point for trust. Every well-run project widens that moat. Every clear update widens the moat. Every properly posted notice widens the moat. Every clear invoice, every organized change order, every polished closeout, everything that you do well widens your moat. Now your competitors are not just beating you on price. They're trying to replace a system the property manager already trusts. That's a really, really hard thing to do. So if you're a commercial roofer and you want to grow in multifamily, this is a shift that I'd recommend that you should make. Stop thinking only like a contractor who sells roofing. Start thinking like a partner who reduces friction. Start thinking like a partner who communicates clearly. Start thinking like a partner who documents thoroughly. Start thinking like a partner who understands the asset, not just the issue. Because when you do that, you stop sounding like everybody else in the market and you become the company that owners remember. You become the company property managers rely on, and you become the company that gets called when the conversation gets bigger, not just for one repair. That's how smart roofers win in multifamily. That's how they grow into entire portfolios. If that hits home, drop portfolio in the comment. And if you want more content on commercial roofers and how you can actually stand out, build trust, and win bigger opportunities, follow along.